How has China's national security law impacted the rights and freedoms of people in Hong Kong? The national security law marks its fifth year of implementation on June the 30th. The following day, Hong Kong Special Administrative Region will celebrate 28 years since returning to Chinese rule. How has the city changed since that day? Does Hong Kong have less, more, or the same freedoms guaranteed under the Basic Law and, of course, based on the Constitution of China? And what is its secret to becoming Asia's #1 international city, according to some latest rankings? To unpack all of this, I'm delighted to be joined from Hong Kong by Professor Priscilla Leung Mei-fun, Deputy to the National People's Congress, also member of the Basic Law Committee under the Standing Committee of the National People's Congress, China's highest legislature, and member of the Hong Kong Legislative Council. Professor Leung, welcome to The Point.
Yeah, welcome.
July the 1st, of course, marks the 28th anniversary of Hong Kong's return to Chinese rule, and June the 30th marks the 5th anniversary of the promulgation of the national security law for Hong Kong. There was a lot of fuss in the West, on Western media, when it was introduced, when the law was introduced in 2020. As a Hong Kong Basic Law professor, very few can match your credentials and first-hand experience. So how has this specific law impacted Hong Kong over the past 5 years? And how has this in turn impacted the city, the society, and the business environment?
Yeah, I think people who are really in Hong Kong would appreciate a lot for the implementation of the national security law promulgated in 2020. You know, right before that, Hong Kong was in chaos, was in a situation and condition that I have never been imagining, because people actually can easily put things on fire. We cannot go to school and go to work normally, etc. So I think we have already got the public support that Hong Kong, after the promulgation of this law, we came back to our normal life. Hong Kong business have been protected with a stronger system of the rule of law, and only very, very small portion of people who got very radical and breached the law would be sentenced by law. And the most other people living in Hong Kong, we enjoyed our daily lives. We come back to the Hong Kong that I was familiar with when I grew up. And Hong Kong, you know, after making efforts for these 5 years, we adhere to a very, very strong system of the rule of law, also a low tax policy with the freest economy on earth. And that doesn't come in a second. It takes the effort, and the national security law has played an important part to secure a very normal life for all citizens in Hong Kong.
Well, the law took over 20 years to promulgate, right? It was first and foremost the responsibility of the SAR government to enact this law, but the Article 23 under Hong Kong Basic Law, however, it was extremely difficult. In the end, the National People's Congress had to come in and enact the law for Hong Kong. Has it encroached in a legal way the one country, two systems of Hong Kong, the high autonomy of the Special Administrative Region?
Yeah, one country, two system is a gift for Hong Kong and Macau, and also actually is a gift for the world, because Hong Kong has demonstrated a peaceful handover to solve a historical wrong out of war. And if you look around the world, no other country can solve this without bloodshed, but China can. And this model has allowed Hong Kong to enjoy a different system from the mainland of China. And both systems are developing to our best. We try to make the best standard out of the capitalist system in Hong Kong, and the mainland of China under the central government also make their best effort to show the best of the socialist system. And it works for 28 years now. It seems that it really worked quite well because China has made use of the special system, both economic system, political system, and cultural system, legal system, to enhance the development of the mainland of China, now becoming the second economy of the world. And they also learned from the legal practice and the rule of law, how to develop into the international law, how to build up a strong role, clear role in the world. And China now has really absorbed the best, and China has got 3 judges elected as the justice of the United Nations International Court. So actually, both systems have helped each other. And Hong Kong, of course, we are a very small economy. We benefited from 1.4 billion people market. And so when we come across crisis in different years, we have overcome it sort of very comfortably with the support of our motherland. And and in this 26 8 years, I think we have also proven to the world that even there is a battle of this high tariffs lodged by the United States, Hong Kong stayed very firm because China has already very much assessed and determined Hong Kong will remain one country, two system for a long, long period of time.
Yeah, what's the role of the national security law in what you just said? That Hong Kong, with the backing of the mainland of 1.4 billion people, is able to resist the challenges and continue to, reap from both a capitalist and a socialist system so that it becomes the freest and most competitive city. What is the role of the national security law that was resolutely put in place by the national legislature?
Basic Law Article 23 had a very clear legislative intent that they want Hong Kong to protect national security by taking reference to the common law system. But Hong Kong did not do the job. So for 26 years until last year, and Hong Kong has truly experienced when a city without the protection of national security, what would happen? We even cannot protect our own property. Private property cannot be protected, lives cannot be protected, and there's no rule for people to follow. A good system for investment. We have to have political stability and foreseeability and certainty for the investors. And now, overseas investors, domestic investors, they all know very well with the support and the safeguard of the national security law as well as the national security ordinance promulgated last year, Hong Kong has a very good system to protect our investment, our daily life, not to be invaded. Our money will be protected.
What do you say to those who are pushing a narrative or who have been pushing a narrative that Hong Kong is not the same anymore, that a lot of its freedom and liberty have been taken away, encroached upon because of this heavy-handedness from the central government? What has made the difference so that there is this national security law, but in implementation it has been handled in a way that the maximum freedom is guaranteed to people who do not intend to damage or hurt Hong Kong's national security and that of the People's Republic?
Hong Kong is very famous for our rule of law. National security law is part of it. In order to guarantee our rule of law will not be encroached by very radical people who do not want to obey the law. The rule of law is to protect people who are willing to follow the same rule of game, to do business, to do their own things, their property being protected. At the same time, they should not take away other people's property by breaching the law. So whoever breached the law in Hong Kong will get their reference penalty. That actually always, I like that. So the implementation of the national security law actually is to protect one country, two systems. not to be attacked by unnecessary or malicious external forces, as well as people who go astray from the system. Like, say, for example, some people advocated pro-independence of Hong Kong. This is completely against one country, two systems. China has made their best efforts to protect one country, two systems. From my observation in the past 28 years, if it is not necessary to safeguard the public interests, the political and economic stability of Hong Kong, China actually would really leave everything for Hong Kong government, for Hong Kong community to make our own decision until we may ask for their help. Like when we are facing economic crisis, we might need the help from the central government for some additional policy to help us. Apart from that, actually China has adopted a very self-restrained, de minimis attitude. They would not interfere anything on Hong Kong unless it's so necessary that they are helping Hong Kong, but not trying to interfere in Hong Kong, as all these malicious statements have claimed. Hong Kong actually is very, very happy right now. Actually, if you see other parts of the world, you can see the national security law with the existence of Article 4 and Article 5, as well as Section 2 of our National Security Ordinance. We spell out the protection of human rights in accordance with the International Covenants of Political and Civil Liberties. If you compare the national security laws all over the world, in UK, in US, in other common law jurisdictions, I can guarantee here the piece of national security law in Hong Kong is a really, really modern piece of law, as well as is a very, very in line with international standard to protect freedom of speech, to protect freedom of expression, freedom of movement, etc. You know, Hong Kong even will protect the greatest economic freedom. So that's why we attract again. We are ranked number one to be the most competitive economy on earth. It's not just from who and who say it. It's by our performance, by our system, which is protected by the basic law of Hong Kong, which is the highest law as regarded in the Hong Kong SAR.
Well, time has told those people wrong who were attacking this law, who claim that Hong Kong's freedom or autonomy is absolute. Time has indeed taught us a thing or two. Thank you so much for taking your time for us, Professor Priscilla Leung Mei-fun, Deputy to the National People's Congress, Basic Law Committee member and member of Hong Kong's Legislative Council. With that, we come to the end of this edition of The Point with me, Li Xin. As always, you can follow me on Facebook and X using the handle Li Xin in Beijing. On behalf of the whole team, thank you for joining. You've got the point.